Hey, hello guys. So I hope all of you are well and fine, and I hope you must have created your own dashboard till now. Okay, and you must have practiced the things which we have discussed yesterday and day all in this video tutorial series. So we got some good responses as well. Thank you so much for that. But still, I'll request all of you to please subscribe the channel if you have not done till now. Okay. So what's the agenda for today's part is yesterday when we discussed about this dashboard, at the end of the session, I told you that we'll talk about some calendar tables in the Power Query Editor, how to create a calendar table, why do we need it, and we'll start moving forward for syncing up the data from Microsoft Forms into Excel sheets, okay, into using Power Automate. So we'll move slowly forward that. But first, we need to move up to our plan, which is creating a calendar table in Power Query Editor. So let's move in. So right now we are into the dashboard. So first, we need to move forward to any of your tables of your data set and go to Query button and click on Edit. So it will open up the Power Query Editor window once again. And if you go to queries option, you will find all the queries which we have loaded here till now in the data set. So if we see this dim date, first of all, let me tell you what is the requirement of that, because we don't have the unique values inside a date column. So we need to create a relationship between the fact table and the calendar table, so that we can have a proper analysis, year wise, month wise, quarter wise, weekday wise, whatever your requirements from your team, from your stakeholders. So accordingly, you can create the reports. So for that, we need a calendar table which have the values from all the dates, which will include all the values from the starting date, whatever you want, till the end date, whatever you specify. Okay. So first of all, the question comes in my mind is how it's too much difficult to find out that what is the starting date, where the values are starting. So let's understand step by step process. Let's go forward. What I'll do is, first of all, I'll create a copy of this table here. I'll create a duplicate of this table so that I can apply whatever transformations I'll require on that particular table. So I'll create a copy of this dim date table, a duplicate of this table. I'll immediately go and rename that table as earliest. Okay, because I want to see from where my dates are starting. Okay, so it is saying that the name of earliest already start. Okay, so no problem. I think I have already created them. Okay, and rename earliest one. Okay, fine. Meanwhile, what I'm doing is I'm removing them. Okay, fine. So I'll rename that as earliest underscore date. Okay. And how will I find this earliest date into my data set is I'll select this because I don't want all these other columns. So what I'll do is I'll select this column, right click on this column and remove all the unnecessary columns. So I'll remove all other columns. Okay, because I don't need them. And what I want next thing is I want to fetch out the earliest value of date out of these all values. What I'll do is I want a single value of the earliest date. So I'll click on this filter button. I'll go here, date filters, and I'll click on is earliest. You can see the options. There are a lot of options available, but I want this is earliest right now. So I'll click on this is earliest and I'll find this date. Now, what I'll do is I don't want this value to be used as my table. So what I'll do is I'll right click on this value option here and click on drill down. What this will do, it will convert it into a single value. Okay. So we got the earliest value here, earliest in this column as earliest date, a value, earliest date. What I now want is I want to fetch out one more time because I want the latest date inside my data set. So what I'll do is I'll click on dim date table once again. I'll right click and I'll click on duplicate. So it will create one more copy and I'll rename this one as latest underscore date. Done. And once again, I'll right click on this column name and remove all the unwanted columns. I'll go here and remove the other columns. Okay. So once again, I'll click on this filter and I'll go here on date filters and I'll say is latest option. So it will give me the latest date. And one more very important point here. If it is right now in this data set, it is already giving me the last value of this year 2015. But in case If it is in some year between, I want a calendar from the first year to the last year of our data set. So what I can do for finding up the last value of my year, what I can do is I'll go to transform, I'll go to date option, I'll go to year and click on end of the year. It will give me the value of end of the year date. Okay. Once again, I want the same thing. Don't want it as a table. I just want it as a value. So I'll click on drill down option and it will give me it as a value. Great. We are done with this. We have created two options here, earliest date and the latest date. Okay, I want the values between these two dates, all the values between these two dates. So what I'll do is I'll go to home and will click on the new source. I'll click on the new source, click on other source and click on blank query. You click on this blank query. Okay. We'll need to write a small M code here. Don't be worried. It's not too much complex and we don't need, I'm not asking you to learn the whole M code because it is not required as well. It's just a small expression which will help you to generate the calendar. So it's not too complex as well. Let's see how to do that. So we'll put the equal to symbol, put the small and closing parenthesis and put the expression as number dot from open the bracket, put your variable name, which is earliest underscore date, close the bracket, put two dot symbol, once again number dot from, okay, and put the values as latest underscore date. Close it. We are done with this. Hit enter. Okay, it will create a list for me, which is having all the values from the beginning date till the last date. But you can see here it is in a list format. It's not in the, first of all, these are not dates. These are numbers, and it's in a list format. It's not in a table. So what the first thing we'll do is we'll click on this option to convert it into a table. First, convert for me into a table. I don't want any delimiter. I don't want to handle the extra column, so that's fine. I'll hit just on OK. It has converted that now into a table. So it is still, but it's still in a numeric format. So it's very simple. We already know that. So what we'll do, we'll change the data type from any to the date. So it will convert those into the date columns. Wonderful. I got the values what I wanted. So I'll rename the column as date. Now what I want is I need to add extra columns. So what I'll go to add column, as we have already discussed, we need to find out the year name separately. So put year separately. We need to find out the start of year, end of year. I don't want it right now. I want the name of month. Yes, I want the name of month. I want the number of days in a month. Okay. And even if sometimes we not need the sales analysis as per month number wise, so we'll click on month, will give me month number out of the date. I may want the sales analysis as quarter, so quarter of year. Okay. We may need analysis based on the week wise. If you need, you can add it, but I don't think so. I need the week right now. I'll go for the day. I'm interested in the day, name of the day. So I'll hit name of the day. It will give me the day name. What was the day on that particular day? It was Friday, Saturday, or whatever. Great. So we are able to create a calendar table which is giving me the values, what the year starting date I have specified and the end date I have specified. So it will give me all the unique values inside this date column. It's so simple for me, and I can write the expression whatever I want. So the expression was not too complex. So in that case, anytime if you want to, if you have any confusion, you can ask me. The expression is very simple. Number dot from, put the two variables what you have created, the earliest date and the latest date. It will give you the value of these tables. So we just rename it with a calendar table. So hit on here, hit calendar, done. Okay. So now if you, when you load the data set, when you are loading the data set, we are working on through Excel, we are opening this calendar, this Power Query editor. But if you open it through Power BI or some other advanced tools, so if you, so what happens at the end, what I want is when I'm loading these data to my, back to my reporting tool, whether in Excel or Power BI. Okay. So when we do it in Excel, it is not giving us this option, but when we do it in Power BI, that allows us to do that as well. What I want to say here is don't want to load these two values. I want to load the calendar table, but I don't want to load these two options as well. So what happens is in Power BI, I get this option. I can go here and there is option of enable load. I can disable it. Here we don't have it. That's fine. we can load it, and we can later on remove it from there, the unwanted parts. We are done with this. What we can do now is we can just need to click on close and load. We'll start loading the data here, and it will load the calendar table as well. This time it will load the calendar table as well. So what we wanted, we are not interested here, but we are interested in the calendar table. Great, we got the calendar table, what we wanted, as we wanted, in the form what we wanted. Now you can use this calendar table, go to your data model, edit the relationships, create the relationship between this calendar table in your and your sales pack table, and you can start analyzing the data. You can plot the timeline slicer. That's what the next task I want you to do. Put the timeline slicer in your dashboard, and put the values year wise, month wise, quarter wise, as you want to see. Great. Done. Wonderful. So not what the next thing we want. We want the next thing to, as I was telling you, that we need to sync up the data between the Microsoft Forms and the Excel data set. Okay, so first of all, if you are not aware of Microsoft Forms, most of the people and most of the companies, even I can say, they use the Microsoft Forms as for filling up the feedback data, or maybe some other entries, whatever need to be filled by customer, or for any entries required by any employees, they use the Microsoft Form these days. If you are not aware with that, it's not a very tedious process to make you aware about that. Let me show you how to do that. You go to your start button, click on your office button. It will open up the office panel. It will give you all the options here, whatever you have in the Microsoft Forms. You search for forms, you will find your form, click on the new form button, hit on the new form button. A new form wizard will open up. It's a very wonderful tool, I can say, given by Microsoft, which helps you to create the feedback forms or any other forms very simply. Okay, so now what I first need to do is I need to give a title for my form. So I'll say it as a feedback form, a feedback data, or something, feedback sales feedback. I'll say sales feedback. Great. That's my form name. If you want to add some description about your form, you can add it so that the customers can see what kind of form it is. I'm leaving that. That's optional part. So I'm leaving it right now. And now we need to add the options, the columns, what we want to filled by the customers. We'll first add new. We'll see the options what we have. The main four options are choices, text, rating, and the date. And we have some other options as well. We don't go down below. The first one I want is as a text option. What I'll want the customer to be filled as customer number. Each customer has a unique number to be identified with. That's done. Now, what the second option we'll want is, we want one more text option where the customer will fill up the customer name. Great. And then what we want, the next one is a choice. So which segment of product they are interested in. So we'll start adding the options here. Are they purchasing from from cosmetics segment, or they are purchasing from grocery? Okay, or their sales, you add the more options, or their sales belongs to some clothes, or maybe the fourth option is others. Okay, so this is how you can create a optional a choice option in your form. Click on add new button. We want the rating to be given by the customer. Okay, or maybe the date when the product has been purchased, or when they are filling up the feedback. Click on date option, the sales date, I can say, when they selected it. So it will be, they just need to click on this button. It will be given open in the calendar format to pick up a date. And add new, the last option is rating, to give a feedback for the product. Okay, so enter the give rating out of 5, or I can say rate the product. How the customer wants to rate the product out of 5. So you can add n number of options as per your requirement here. For moving whatever options you have added, for moving them up and down, what you can do is just select the name of your option which you want to move up and down. So you have the arrows. So I want to move the sales date above. So I'll click on this option. It will move it above on the third option now. Okay, so this is how you can adjust them as per your requirement. So how you need to, if you need, I want to fill it first time for myself, for my data. So what I'll do is I'll go to preview. Okay, it will start asking me to fill the data. So let's say customer number C1, customer name, let's say Sam, and we'll enter a sales date. And it will open up the picker, the calendar picker. So I'll enter today's date, let's say anything we can choose out, and what category he choose from clothes, and he'll rate the product as 5. That's a very good response given by the customer. Great. Once again, if you need to go back and submit another response, click here, start submitting another response. Beautiful thing given by Excel is if we go on back and we have the responses here, we can open that in Excel as well. We can, if we want, we can find out directly in the Excel. It is already giving some visual analytics here itself directly, but still, if we want to open it in Excel and go to the pivot table, we can do that as well. But I have one more advanced part to do that, which I wanted is whatever feedbacks are getting filled by the customer here, I want to sync it with my already running pivot table. Okay, so that I don't need to go and take the data from there and put it in my pivot table and then refresh my pivot table. I just want to do that whenever the customer is filling the feedback, whenever the new entry is happening into my data, I want my already existing pivot table to be refreshed accordingly. Okay, so that we will see tomorrow. For that, we'll use the Power Automate option. But before that, I want you to continue with this, practice this, and so that you can be in cope up with the pace of the course. And thank you so much for that. And one more thing which I want to tell you here is we are keeping on based on some queries which we are facing. We are getting, so we are keeping a live session to go ahead on Saturday at 2 p.m. IST. So I'll put the meeting link in the comment in the feedback in the description of this video. So if you want to join that, I'll request you to join that and come up in the live session so that we can have a discussion. Whatever questions you have, you can ask anything about this course, anything out of this content. But I want you to go through the videos before that so that we can have a proper discussion. It will be I'm very excited to have a one-to-one discussion. So I'll request you to first of all, go through the uh, go through uh, all the videos and then come up in the live session. Thank you so much. If you're still not subscribed, that's my last request. Please subscribe the button session. Thank you so much.